Alright guys, so we're at that point now where we just want to share a couple of little tips for the week. A few questions about the grip strength test, and something that you've got to be very, very careful of when you're preparing yourself to improve your grip strength is that you're actually improving your strength and not your stamina or endurance. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've had lots of examples of where people will get themselves one of these little things, and look, these are a good little device, but the problem with them is that they're not particularly strong, not particularly resistant, so you can end up being able to squeeze these things, you know, whatever, 20 odd times before you start to get fatigued, and then it becomes a struggle. If you're doing more than 3 or 4 repetitions on something like this, you're not actually increasing your strength. You're starting to increase your stamina, your ability to be able to do more each time. A typical example, an applicant rather said to me once, I could only do about 10 of these, but I've had it in my car. Every time I stop at the traffic lights, I pick it up, I squeeze the hell out of it as many times as I can, and I drive off when the light turns to green. And she'd increased her strength from around about 10 to almost 30, and thought she was doing wonders until she failed the grip strength at the official test. And it's not a case of improving your stamina, but rather your strength that we're looking at. These things need to be much, much tighter than being able to do 20 repetitions. 3 or 4 at the most is what you should be able to get out of it. Otherwise you need to find one that's much more heavily rated. This is a little alternative, something like this, or anything alternative, but the reason I like this little rubber ring is that it's very, very tight, and in order to squeeze it from top to bottom, it takes a hell of a lot of power, or certainly a lot more than these types of things do. So if I can get around about 3 or 4 repetitions out of this one, I'm going to get a lot more benefit in terms of increasing my strength out of this than I ever will out of a lighter one. And if you've ever been to a gymnasium, they talk about sets and repetitions. Generally, you'll do 3 sets of between 10 and 12 repetitions. To increase your strength, you need to be working way, way down at the repetition range of around 3 to 4. So to do that, it means that you're going to have to increase the resistance or the weight or the strength of the device that you're trying to squeeze. So if you're doing 10 or 15, it's too many. Try and keep that repetition range down to around 3 or 4. And as you get stronger, that will start to increase to 5 to 6 to 7. That's the signal to get rid of this one now and find something even heavier again to keep you in that 3 to 4 range.